So let's talk about Afghanistan. Afghanistan is at the beginning stages of a civil war. The Taliban continues to take territory. The Taliban has already taken over 1/3 of Afghanistan's districts, and there are 421 districts in Afghanistan. And the Taliban continues to take territory. The Afghan soldiers that the Americans trained, on the other hand, continued to give up territory and they continue to run away, and they leave all of those American weapons behind. And the Taliban is taking those weapons. What's going on? What's going on is a repeat of Iraq. The United States trained all of these Iraqis with American training, gave them American weapons, and when the Americans left Iraq, ISIS popped up, and the Iraqi soldiers fled. They ran away. The Iraqi soldiers that the Americans trained ran away, and they left behind all of that American weaponry. And ISIS took those weapons. And they were massacres, there was bloodbaths, there was sex slavery. I don't have to tell you guys the details of the horrors that ensued in Iraq after the Americans left, and especially after the Iraqi military ran away. And there was a power vacuum that was left in Iraq, and it was filled up by Turkey. Now, the Americans did have to return to Iraq to bring back some sort of stability, but nonetheless, the Americans have been relying on Turkey to be a force of that stability in Iraq. The same thing happened in Syria. The Americans said, we're done with Syria. Trump said, we are done with Syria. Let someone else take care of that blood-soaked, sandy country. He said something to the likes of that. And the Americans allowed the Turks to take over northern Syria, or at least a huge chunk of northern Syria. And the same thing happened in Libya. The Americans toppled Gaddafi, and there was a huge power vacuum left in Libya, and Turkey is now in Libya. It looks like Afghanistan is going down that same route. America created a military force in Afghanistan, trained all of these soldiers, gave them American weapons. Now America is beginning to withdraw, and the withdrawing of America's troops in Afghanistan will be complete, I believe, after September the 11th. But as America withdraws from Afghanistan, the Taliban feels empowered, and they are capitalizing on the situation, and they are taking huge swaths of territory. And the Afghan soldiers are running away, just like what happened in Iraq. And they're leaving behind all of these American weapons, and the Taliban is taking those weapons. And which NATO country is volunteering itself to be a force of stability in Afghanistan? You don't have to be a geopolitical analyst to guess. It's Turkey. Turkey has been the only country volunteering itself to replace the position of America in Afghanistan. And Turkey is talking about fighting the Taliban. And the Taliban has already stated, Turkey, we don't want you here. Go away. Don't bring your soldiers here. We will fight you. That's exactly what Turkey wants. Turkey wants the Taliban to be there so that Turkey could then say, well, no one is helping us. America isn't helping us to stabilize Afghanistan. So we need more troops. And Turkey wants to join forces with other countries to help it in Afghanistan. Turkey wants to join forces with Hungary, and Turkey wants to join forces with Pakistan. Now, with Pakistan, I can understand, because Pakistan is a major Muslim country. Pakistan is also Saudi Arabia's biggest Islamic ally, and the way I see it is Turkey is trying to pull Pakistan closer to its sphere of power in order to further isolate Saudi Arabia, because Turkey and Saudi Arabia are enemies. And this goes back to the Ottoman Empire, the fall of the Ottoman Empire in World War I, in which the British backed the Arabs and used the Arabs as proxies to overthrow the Ottomans out of Arabia, out of the Arabian Peninsula. And the Turks have never forgotten this. So the Turks and the Arabs are enemies. So the way I see Turkey trying to pull in Pakistan into Afghanistan is basically a way for Turkey to isolate Saudi Arabia from its biggest Islamic ally. With Hungary, it gets a little bit more interesting because Hungary is not a Muslim country, obviously. Hungary is traditionally a Christian country, more so a Protestant country. The Viktor Orban is a Calvinist. But the fact that Turkey wants to ally with the Hungarians in Afghanistan, I find that to be quite fascinating, given the fact that the Hungarians and the Ottomans were allies in the First World War. The Hungarians, they want to revamp their military force. Turkey has been a major source of revamping the Hungarian military. Turkey has been a huge facilitator of Hungary's plan to revamp its military. In fact, Turkey has been greatly involved in boosting up Hungary's military capacity. So the way I see it is the revival of the Ottoman Empire alongside the revival of this alliance, historical alliance between the Ottomans and the Hungarians. So it's all very fascinating. You look at Syria, Iraq, Libya. What do these three countries have in common? They all had power vacuums created by the United States. Libya with the toppling of Gaddafi, Syria with the civil war, which was facilitated by NATO, and of course the rise of the insurgency that happened in Syria due to NATO arming rebels and pushing for the overthrowing of Bashar al-Assad. And then of course you have Iraq, which we all know what happened in Iraq. The United States toppled Saddam Hussein. And once America left these three countries, Turkey comes into the picture somehow. And now America is leaving Afghanistan and Turkey is coming into the picture. Turkey wants to create its own NATO. It wants to create its own global security umbrella. It wants to create its own empire, just like NATO. Because NATO really is the American empire. And this is why Turkey is leading the Turkic Union. The Turkic Union is Turkey's way of trying to create its own NATO. And it's very interesting that Hungary is the secretary of the Turkic Union. It's not a member of the Turkic Union, but nonetheless it has a secretarial position within the Turkic Union because the Hungarians are Magyars. They are related to the Huns of ancient times. And the Huns were a Turkic people who came from Central Asia. And Turkey wants to control Central Asia. Afghanistan is in Central Asia. It's not necessarily a Turkic country, although they are ethnic Turks who live in Afghanistan. This is Turkey's opportunity to have its military gain a strong position in Central Asia. And this is because, and here is another interesting fact. They are literally thousands of Taliban fighters on the Afghan-Tajik border. So Tajikistan could get involved. And Tajikistan is a Turkic country. And Turkey, having a military presence in Afghanistan, could then say, well, we need to help our Turkic brethren fight against terrorism. So the war on terror lives on, and it's still being used to justify military deployment, this time by Turkey within Central Asia. So you are beginning to see the military advancement of Turkey within Central Asia. Because this has been a big dream of the Turks for a long time, to have a Turkic Union, a Turkic NATO. And where do most of the world's Turkic peoples live? Right there in Central Asia, where you have Kazakhstan and Tajikistan. So the presence of the Taliban is Turkey, and also on top of that, America leaving is Turkey's opportunity to expand a military hegemony within Central Asia. And it's very fascinating that this is happening not too long after Turkey helped Azerbaijan defeat the Armenians in Artsakh, in the whole Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. Because where is Azerbaijan located? It's located right there on the Caspian Sea. And right across from Azerbaijan on the Caspian Sea is Central Asia. So with Azerbaijan, Turkey has direct access across the Caspian Sea into Central Asia. And now with America working with Turkey to have Turkish troops in Afghanistan, and with the strong presence of the Taliban, and with the Taliban taking all of this territory, Turkey can then say, Yildirim, glum, 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 terrorism, Taliban. We have to defeat Taliban. And they're going to have soldiers in Afghanistan. And slowly, you're going to see Turkey expanding its presence in Central Asia with the help of other countries, of course, because Turkey cannot do this on its own. So you are watching history, everybody. You are watching history. You are witnessing the revival of the Ottoman Empire. It's fascinating to see. It really is fascinating to be alive at such a time. It's scary, but nonetheless, it is fascinating to see history just revive before your eyes. Anyway, you guys just heard some theology. God bless.